By now, you guys have seen me with shoulder length hair, and then I have grown it out to the length it is now. I even had it this length before, and I just love this length. So today I just wanted to put together a video where I talk about my hair care routine, whether or not I dye my hair, and what I would use as words to describe my hair cut, because these are the common questions I get about all of my hair care, and I wanted to be able to make a video where I could just point people to it to say, watch this if you're interested, because I do get quite a few requests about my hair care. So kind of cutting through the scripts today about personal style and sort of just doing more of a lifestyle video for you today. One thing to know about my natural hair is that it is very wavy, almost to the point of being curly in the back. And then the rest of my hair just sort of lays either straight or has a wave to it. So altogether, I would say that I have very, very thick strands of hair, and I have a lot of them. So really, I think a lot of people look to me to ask, like, how do you get your hair so thick? Well, I'm trying just to sort of tame it down. So the way that I do that with my haircut is that I just have one length of hair, and I get one blunt cut all the way along it. And what that does is it makes it, I think, look healthy on the ends, but really it just sits a lot more flat than if I were to, put layers in it, or if I were to cut it up to my shoulders like you guys have seen. At one point, I did have it cut up really short, and I really did not feel confident in that in my own skin with that. So I just prefer having long hair, and some people ask, does that make you look shorter as a petite? I think that at the end of the day, with hair or makeup or face, it really just comes down to how you feel confident, and then you're able to walk in a way where you stand tall. Next, do I color my hair? The answer for now, up to this point, is no. I have like chestnut brown hair is how I've heard other people describe it. I have a lot of Irish heritage and a lot of Italian heritage, and so if I stand in the sunlight, you can just see like my hair can be bright red when the sun hits it. So that's where that chestnut color comes through. So if I were to suggest like what to ask somebody for, if you were to like try to find my hair color in a bottle, it would probably just be like a chestnut brown. But I don't mind if I have some like gray silver strands shine through once in a while. That's okay. Really, I just want to have my hair color until I don't anymore, and then I might start experimenting with maybe a darker brown would look really nice for my like skin tone. But I don't know. I don't know yet what I would do differently. So that covers natural hair, as far as the cut, the texture, and the color. And now I really want to get into the different products I use, because if moving to Nashville has done me any good, the number one thing I think it's done is an education in hair care. Somebody I've always loved for hair advice, as well as just her general aesthetic, is Mary Ellen Skye, and I can link you guys down to her stuff down below. But she is my hairstylist and my friend, and we've been able to have some like really open conversations about hair care. So the first thing that she recommended is to prevent buildup. I think when you have as much hair as I do, it can get really stuck as far as it doesn't move. It doesn't get all of the residue out with all of the different products or oil or anything that I have going on. So the first thing that I do is I use Olaplex. This is what I bring with me if I have just a small bag to travel with. I get the travel sizes of these, and I don't worry about a lot of the other products, but this is like the skeleton of my hair care in the shower. So I use the shampoo and the conditioner from Olaplex. But before I use those products, I use a scalp scrub. I use this one. Zach uses this one. It depends what kind of scalp you've got going on. I like the one that has the salicylic acid in it. These smell amazing. Any sort of scalp scrub that I've tried from any brand is just such a like aromatherapy essence to it. And what that does is, instead of like trying to get out goop, if you had like literal goop in your hair and you're trying to get it out with shampoo only without having some sort of like grit to it, then it's really not going to wash out. So start with a scalp scrub, and then this one, I can link you guys to both of these, but this other one is for people who don't have oily scalps but really have more sensitive scalps. And that creates such more movement to your hair, and it allows like a pre-treatment before you use the shampoo, because then the shampoo can really get in there and get it really clean. So yeah, that was one of the first things that Mary Ellen told me, is that I needed to remove the buildup. She recommended the Olaplex products to me, and then I've just sort of like found these other things along the way. I found the Kerastase products when I worked with them last year, and I've still used them today. None of this is sponsored, by the way. This is sort of just a corral of different products that I do use. In between using the Olaplex shampoo and conditioner, this is another really good product that I like to use in between. So this is the Kerastase nutrition shampoo, and what that does is it's sort of, I think they describe it as a hair bath, where it's like a pre-conditioner. So what this is doing, when I use this, I feel it and I'm like, oh my gosh, it feels like my hair is being softened. And it's like all of the shampoo sort of strips your hair, and this brings that back to life. And then I'm able to use the conditioner, which is a very, very heavy conditioner, but it doesn't create too much like greasiness either. So I wouldn't use a conditioner that made my hair too greasy, but it does the job for that Olaplex one. So you can see like why I use these different ones, and you can sort of judge for yourself what works for your hair. But I really need my hair to be clean, and then I need it to be conditioned, because then I do use heat, and I'll get to all of that in a minute. So then after I have fully washed my hair, I like to use something that will protect my hair from the heat, and this is the Kerastase Ciment Thermique product, and I have found that if I use too much, it doesn't work. I've also found that the cap does not stay on, but I keep buying it because it keeps working, and so I just sort of store this in a way that it won't like start leaking. So I use about a quarter size amount of this, and I put it through my hair, and then I start drying my hair. When I dry my hair, I do like to have it just not like brushed through yet. Any sort of like hairstylist I've talked to has told me to not brush it out when it's wet, because it just sort of damages it. It stretches out each strand, and I don't want my hair to be doing that. So I sort of loosely dry it at first, and that product will really help it to not damage or get too frizzy in the process. And then after I sort of get it to a point where my hair's not wet but damp, that's when I can start to use more products that make my hair shine and still protect my hair and make it smell good. So the main product I use for that, I actually have gotten this from my mom. She's shown it to her stylist. Her stylist started using it for all of her clients. So this is like something that I give people for Christmas. It's really good. So this is the Kerastase Elixir Ultime, and it's just a really good serum to put in your hair, whether it's dry or damp. And so I put it on both. When it's damp, I put it through my hair, and then I'm able to dry it in section by section. In past videos where I've done my hair care routine, like I think it was over 2 years ago, someone who was a stylist said you want to be able to section out your hair when it's damp, and with a product like that or an argan oil to just take section by section and blow dry it that way. So for that, I did upgrade to a Dyson. I went into buying a Dyson kicking and screaming because I did not find that it was virtuous to be able to spend so much on a hair dryer. But Zach has a lot of thick hair, and he has a lot of it too. So between us, we just both were finding that we were drying our hair forever, and it still never felt dry. So we went ahead and bought ourselves a Dyson, and I don't regret it at all. It does make my hair dry a lot faster. I feel like the end product is a lot better. So after I get it to this point where it's just damp, that's when I use the attachments, and I use different attachments for that. So the attachments that I personally use have these sort of like flatter heads to them, and that allows me to target my hair without the heat touching my hair too much. That ends up helping it dry so much faster. And I use a brush. I've actually used this model brush for like 5 years, and I won't use anything else. I just got a new one so that I would show you guys a nice new clean one instead of mine that I've been using. But the bristles on it are a lot bendier than normal bristles, and they're more dispersed. There's not too many bristles on there. And I think because my hair is thick, I'm able to get my brush through it and not cause too much damage. So that's why I use this for all of my heat styling. Anytime that I need a brush, I definitely use this. And with the combination of that, the Dyson and the extensions, or attachments rather, that just makes my hair as smooth as I want it to be. Now for this hairstyle that I'm doing today, I don't need it to be like sleek, like stick straight, but it gets me pretty close to that. So the other thing that Zach uses for his extremely curly hair, he uses this attachment, by the way, which is a diffuser, and that allows it to not create a lot of frizz. So just a point of reference if you have hair more like him than me. But the attachments really help. I feel like my hair ends up being a lot more sleek by the end of all of this, and it gets me to a really good point to then decide what I want to do with my hair. If I wanted to just keep it in a ponytail, that would have been fine. But I wanted to show you guys like how I do my everyday hair. So the next thing that I do is I use a curling iron. The way I use it is to create sort of like curtain bangs without having the commitment that bangs are. And I had bangs for years, and I'm sort of like gun shy. I don't ever really want to do them again. So what I do is I sort of move my hair opposite of the direction that it's going to be, and I let the curling iron sit and sort of bend it the other way, and I hold it there until it starts to cool off, and then it creates this nice bend to my hair. Now I would be fine if that's just the end of what I did, but to add the extra curls that I use for every day, I sort of wind the wand around each section of my hair and let that sit for about 10 seconds. And that just creates these loose waves that seem to stay. And because my hair has that wave to it naturally, this is like a cleaned up version of that. And I've also found that it looks a lot better if I only use small sections instead of like big chunks, because it will curl faster. It will more evenly disperse the curl throughout all of my hair, which is so important if you have a lot of hair like me, to be able to move quickly and get that going. And one more thing that I love to use as just a finishing product for my hair is this shea butter. I actually got this as part of a gifted product a while back, and I still haven't gotten through it. It's this little tiny bottle, or tin, I guess, but I only use like a teeny tiny bit, like just the tiniest little smidge of it. I warm it up in my hands, and then I'm able to control my freshly washed hair wherever I want it to. And that allows me also to flatten anything that sort of looked like a flyaway where my part is. One more small note I wanted to make about my curling iron is that I always look for a curling iron that won't have too much drag with the way that the clamp works. And the clamp is actually really important, although I don't use it for my hairstyle. I use it because it has that like arm that sticks out where you put your thumb, and that allows me to create a wave where it bends to sort of crease that part. And that allows me just to have a hairstyle that has this sort of swoopy part here. And I like for my swoops of my waves to sort of start low and move upward. And then they obviously get tighter down below. So that's sort of like the breakdown of what I look for there. I have a couple other products that I use sort of for maintenance, because I do not do this full routine every day. If I did, I think I'd get really exhausted of doing it. I think I would damage my hair too much, and I'd go through a lot of products too fast. So I do all this maybe every 3 days at most, maybe less than that. So in between washes, I think that it's really important to keep my hair conditioned by using my nutritive product from Kerastase. This is the 8-Hour Magic Night Serum. I've put this on during the day before, and it sort of is too cakey. It takes the full 8 hours to sink into your hair, but it's a way of having sort of a conditioning treatment without having to wash and dry it and all that. So that works miracles, and your hair smells good the next day. It looks probably even better than day 1 hair. Day 2 hair is pretty remarkable with this. And finally, I do like to work out, and I like to sort of wake up and not be bothered with all this. So a dry shampoo is incredibly important. I've tried different ones having dark hair, and I still sort of prefer to have one that doesn't have the dark brown dye with it. And so this is the Fresh Affair by Kerastase. I think one of the more redeeming qualities about the Kerastase products is their scent. And so when you have day 3 hair, scent is really important, and looking fresh is really important. So this one has an amazing scent, and I like the pressure of it. When you spray it on, it feels like it disperses enough and doesn't you don't have giant white spots where you sprayed powder. So overall, I really like this one. I like it in the bigger bottle than I like it in the small travel size, but I do have that as well. So hopefully this was answering some questions, not only that you had maybe about my hair, but hopefully something out of this whole kit and caboodle solves your hair concerns too. This has been a lifelong journey of trying to figure out what works for me particularly, and I loved having the advice that I had from professionals to be able to be like, no, stop using this, start using this, because I think hair care was last on my list of priorities. I wanted the cheapest and quickest thing I could possibly use, and that ended up now, all these years later, I look back at those videos that I've made and I was like, gosh, if I only knew then what I know now about hair care. So this is my 2022 review of what I do for my hair, and maybe I will keep you posted as this changes throughout my life. And if you like this sort of lifestyle content, be sure to let me know by giving it a thumbs up. That really helps because, I could do personal style content all day long forever, but some of you who've been around here for a long time sort of look for more lifestyle content too. So it really helps for me to be able to gauge that, so I don't bombard people too much with my own stuff personally, and I don't hide too much either. So trying to strike that really healthy balance on my channel. And with that, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.